State plan to work with the Nigerian capital market in the areas of raising capital for the state where necessary and supporting businesses in Edo State.
From a government perspective, we're going to strengthen our balance sheet and be in a position to access the market as and when we need financing. As you know, we currently have a bond, a 25 billion 7-year bond, which matures next year. Once we get that off our books, we will look at the market, the situation in the market, and see if we want to, raise another bond. Or we believe there will be opportunities to raise revenue bonds and infrastructure bonds. That is money tied to specific projects with defined cash flows. We are looking at all the transactions. We were looking at all the transactions that are available in the market in our state and see how we can introduce some of them to the market. We're also going to be looking at maybe innovative ways of financing small and medium-scale businesses. If you recall, we are currently enjoying a 2 billion facility for small and scale, which we have distributed across the state using some MFIs. The repayment on that facility is very, very good and interesting. And we believe that if we can show, this as a proof of concept, we can demonstrate that the cash flows from these sort of, MMSE transactions are good. We hopefully can maybe providing some guarantees or some support, go into the market and raise more money to support small and medium-scale businesses. But these are, the arena of possibilities are so huge that the key and most important thing is get your balance sheet right, build confidence, and then the markets will be open to you.
You have an ambitious plan to create 200,000 jobs in the next 4 years. Can you briefly share with us how you intend to achieve this?
Well, the bulk of these jobs will be created from and by the private sector. The role of government will be to provide the enabling environment for this to happen. And we're already seeing it. Where will the jobs come from? From the areas I've mentioned. Agriculture, for instance. Currently, between the 3 large estates, they have under 50,000 hectares of land under cultivation. Our goal is to put about between 200 and 250,000 hectares under cultivation in the next 4 years. And that's huge. We have actually allocated about 150,000 as we speak to about 10 large-scale farmers. If and when they commence execution or implementation of their programs, which we have approved, assuming that 5 people work on a hectare, as a tractor driver, a farmhand, and, for 50,000 hectares alone, which is nothing, you would have created 250,000 jobs. Aside from the industries that would emanate from, the availability of electricity. Once people know there's electricity 24/7, they will locate to utilize that resource. And by October next year, Azura will be on stream. That's an additional 450 megawatts of power. So it's about encouraging private business. And the key here is to make them feel safe, create a secure environment, create an environment where you have well-trained or educated manpower. Those are the other things that we need to build, which businesses need. And we have no doubts in our mind that we can be the haven where most businesses locate to.
How do you intend to push your industrialization drive for Edo State?
Like I said, if you think about our national economy today, we spend about $15 billion importing food items. with the scarcity of foreign exchange, the scarcity does not curb the demand. The demand is real, it still exists. We believe that if we create that enabling environment, people will locate and produce here. I'll just give you an example of a Guinness plant. Guinness plant, the Guinness plant we commissioned last week was a spirit line, right? And Diageo is one of the world's largest producer of alcoholic spirits. That line will require a certain amount of ethanol or spirits for which they're required to blend their products. You can get ethanol either from sugar or from cassava. So right there's a ready market for ethanol, which can be made out of cassava. And you can go on and on and on because, because before now you're satisfied the supply from imports. With scarce foreign exchange, people will be forced to looking what's, and they already are. The other area will be of services, because we've looked at it and said, okay, what do we spend money on? We spend money on food, we spend money on education. And so what we're doing is try to renew our school systems. We're building or commissioned a state university in Iyamo. The infrastructure in that school is world class. And what we intend to do, because the Act permits us to have a PPP, well, public-private partnership in education. So what we intend to do is to take a school like that, ensure that, take a school like that and partner it with a world-class university, so that some of the children who go abroad, we spend almost $2 billion every year paying school fees abroad, can now begin to look and see that there's a local alternative, that you can send the children to school like Edo State University, and the school will have greater faculty as what the ones they find in Europe or America, and therefore, it will be much cheaper than sending those kids abroad. So education is another space. The third is healthcare. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to go through our 5-star hospital. The infrastructure in that hospital and the amenities rival any you'll find anywhere in the world. We also want to PPP, have a public-private partnership on that facility, and such that people don't have to go to places like India or Europe to get medical care. Whatever, thanks to telemedicine and technology in medicine today, once we can, have reliable partners, then we should also be a good market for healthcare.